What's going on? What's up with it?
Whoo,
We
man.
back in there.
Yep. Another week, another episode. The Fire Session Podcast. Y'all know who we be. It's Big
We in there
Ken
like
and the
swimwear.
man, the brand, Benji Banks.
I feel like a champion.
Benji, my guy, what does your shirt say? Go ahead and let people know what that shirt says off the top, because y'all know every week.
Safe sex saves money.
So some of
What?
y'all, are looking for ways to save money. That's one way to save money. Stop having all these kids, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
some
You
of
need
y'all,
to.
you know what I'm saying, have a
You
bunch
ain't
of
Nick
kids.
Cannon.
Yeah.
You ain't Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
You ain't Musa. What's the richest dude in the world name?
Oh, Mansa Musa.
You ain't a Mansa Musa. Come
Hey,
on,
man. Speaking of Nick Cannon, dude, like, I can't lie. Somebody posted that, and I felt that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they were talking about him, and you know what I'm saying, him being partly responsible for the
him and what's the girl name?
I can't remember her name. Kiki, I think Kiki Wyatt.
Kiki Wyatt, Kiki something.
Yeah, because of all the kids they got, and they responsible for the formula shortage. Look, listen here, people. When I was a kid, I told my mom I wanted 10 kids. 10. I wanted 10. 10 kids. 10, bruh. So, you know what I'm saying? I would have been partly responsible for that, but I started having kids as a young fella. I was only 20 when we had our first child. And I started seeing how much kids cost.
Yeah.
So I started doing the numbers in my head, and I was like doing the math.
Mm-hmm.
And as y'all say today, the math wasn't mathing. I was like, no.
Yeah,
You don't have to scale that back.
Careful.
Yeah, you have to scale that back.
You stopped at 3. I stopped at 3.
Yeah.
I had mine early. You know what I'm saying? Got a little 13-year-old. You know what I'm talking about? I got this all wrapped up. So I figured by the time I hit my 50s, you know what I'm talking about? I'm straight. You know, I'm cool. You know, I'll be on the beach somewhere. You know what I'm saying? With my, with my shirt off. You know what I'm saying? Chill. We gotta worry about no kids.
I love kids. Don't get me wrong. I do want more. No, I mean, like, honestly, I do want more, but it's just kids are expensive, man. And when you
safe sex saves money, Ken. Just
the
let
money.
it go, bro.
Well, I mean, I'm married, so I just I'm.
He's like, I'm gonna have to.
It's as safe as it's gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Just know that. Just know that. But y'all already know we get over here, we cloud a little bit before we get going. But we got a very, very, very dope guest today, and we got a very, very, very dope topic that you all got to check out, because it's very important right now in today's time to know what this gentleman is gonna bring to us today. Right. I can't stress that enough. It's something that you probably hear all the time, buzzwords, things that you hear in passing and you see, but most of y'all don't know anything about them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just know it's a bunch of people out there rich and all this other stuff. So you look at the monetary gains behind it, but you don't look at how it came about, what it's really about, and how you can get in the game and how you can get involved. So when we started talking about that amongst ourselves, I said, you know what? I got the perfect person. I got the perfect person that can do that for us. So we got this gentleman coming on. We ain't going to waste a whole bunch of time. I want to do this big, long introduction, but this guy is going to tell you so much stuff. We want to get it in. We want to have the time. He's a great guy. I've been knowing since college, actually. So, it's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? I've been knowing him a pretty good while. A pretty good while. So y'all know we bring y'all guests with substance. Y'all already know if we bring them on the show, they legit people.
They legit. And they got some dope going on.
So here we go. We're going to bring on Mr. Jeremy Butler, and he got that information for us on them NFTs,
Mr. Butler,
and cryptocurrency and everything. Mr. Butler,
man,
good?
Y'all, wow, man, y'all crazy.
Hey, first off, I just want to say this: your name sounds too much like Jimmy Butler, who's for the Miami Heat, and I'm a Celtic fan, so. I just want to get that out the way. Jeremy Butler sound too much like Jimmy Buckets to me, but we're gonna let you roll and slide today. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
know?
y'all wow. To that point, man, my son thinks we're related to Jimmy Butler, so that's hilarious. And to another point, I only got two kids, so yeah, y'all can miss me. Y'all are amazing
That's
men in my
commendable.
book.
Yeah, no,
That's commendable.
that just means you got room to grow, sir.
No,
I
sir.
Room
mean,
to
see,
No,
grow.
sir.
I'm 3 years ahead of you. I'm 43. So if you just turned 40, that means I'll be 44 before you 40. So you know what I'm saying? You might want to squeeze another one in there and go. You got boy
Yo,
and a girl, or girl and a boy, two boys, two girls.
girl and a boy. The youngest is 10. I got 8 years before
Okay.
that joker's off to college, so now I'm good.
No, he got a girl and a boy. He got a girl and a boy, so that's
We're
a
good.
nice stopping point. That is. I
that
got to give him that. That's a
And
nice
the
stopping
wife
point.
is gonna say we done too, so we done.
Oh
We're
yeah,
in
of
agreement.
course.
She like,
Of
that's
course.
it. I ain't having no more babies.
Yeah, because if she ain't
They're
with it,
keep
it
you
ain't
quiet
happening.
over here, whatever her name is.
Yeah. If she ain't with it, it ain't happening.
It ain't
Yo,
happening.
man, and they're expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. My son has the audacity to like $250 shoes. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, his
yeah.
daddy like expensive shoes too, so he just trying to be like his daddy.
I mean, come on, man. You got to bring some money to the table, some denario, some Skrilla, some scratch, some
He
Yeah,
said,
cheese,
"You
some
got it.
Gouda.
You got the money.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm
It's
saying?
stealing
Bring
it
that
all.
bread."
Remember, safe sex saves money.
I mean, he said you got that bread. But I want to point out something right quick too. You know what I'm saying? Usually I'm the beard champion on the show, but Mr. Butler has a luxurious beard. He
That's
got a real
right.
he got a
That's
real
right.
beard, a full beard, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I had cut mine down a little bit, you know what I'm saying, to give it a restart. So Jeremy,
Don't even
you
start
got
with
you
beards,
got
man.
you got the beard championship belt for the day, you know what I'm saying, since you on the show. Benji can't even grow a beard, so he's not even in contention.
He got that method, man.
Man, listen, I done tried everything. And to all the companies out there that can tell you that they can grow you a beard with that little oil and stuff like that, I'm on the record saying y'all lying. Y'all
Oh, he
lied to
tried it.
me.
He
Y'all
tried it.
lied to me because I spent days rolling the little follicle joint, you know what I'm saying? Doing the whole little shindig. Nothing
tore up.
happened. No oil, no nothing happened. Y'all
Gone.
lied to me. False advertising. I believe all of them are like the Pear songs if it ain't natural. You know, like the weed king.
Yeah, you can go ahead and get you a man unit, you know what I'm saying? Get you a man unit beard.
Nah, man, I was disappointed, man.
Get you a
I would have
Velcro
liked
joint.
my beard like I like my women, natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We respect that. We respect that.
Come on, Kendrick. I need some stretch marks.
Hey man. In the words of Devin the Dude, this stretch marks ain't nothing but a roadmap, baby. It's a roadmap.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all.
Absolutely.
We're going to jump right into here. First of all, we want to make sure that we know who Jeremy is.
Right.
I know him, but I want to make sure you know him. So, Jeremy, kind of tell people your background, what city you from, what set you claim, or whatever the case may be, what college you came from, or whatever
Yeah.
you want to let us know, and tell us about your educational background as well.
Cool. Well, man, thanks, man. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I had an opportunity to check out some of y'all's podcasts, man. Y'all are hilarious. I think the work that y'all are doing is dope. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. As Ken said, I'm Jeremy Butler. I'm originally from Odessa, Texas, so Friday Night Lights. When I was young, yeah. When I was young, I moved to Cali for a minute.
What was his name? Booby that jacked up his leg, his knee. Okay.
You close.
Okay.
And then moved to Cali for about 5 years. Moved back to West Texas, Odessa.
Going up the W.
And then I moved down here. Graduated from high school in Arlington, Texas, and then like immediately after that, I thought I wanted to be an actor. So I went to a performing arts college in downtown Dallas called KD Studio. From there, went to Falcon College, right? So did another 4 years, got my degree in business administration, Had some really dope internships with like some nonprofits and some stuff up at SMU as well. And that was crazy in terms of like, you know, Paul Quinn being in South Dallas and then totally having a different experience just north of Trinity River, you know, for a couple of years.
Hold on. Did you say South Dallas?
Yeah.
See, every time somebody says South Dallas, that's my heart. That's my home. That's where everything. That's where it all originated for me in South Dallas. So I'm a Texas boy, a country boy, Doris, Bear Street, down low, you know, Bonton, all of that. So when you say South Dallas, I had to stop you for a second and say, you know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
South Dallas. Except for the whack people. So, you know,
A little funny. Yeah,
It's
no,
straight,
but
straight.
yeah,
That's
man,
home
you
for
know, went to the Quinn, you know, was on the yard for 3.5 years, got married my last year, my senior year, to an amazing chick. We're still married to this day, so that's something special for me. But having internships, you know, north of the Trinity River, man, it was just crazy because you see like the disparities between like these two communities that should truly be one. You know what I'm saying? And so I think from there, like my senior year of Paul Quinn, like I went into like ministry. You know what I'm saying? I started doing a lot of like ministerial work. Went to seminary, another school in Dallas, Dallas Theological Seminary. Got my master's in media and communication with an emphasis in video production. That's like a long name just to basically say like I do videos. You know, so yeah, man, and you know that's kind of like my education. You know, it's kind of full. A lot of different experiences, different people groups, different opportunities for internships and like ecumenical fellowships, man. Just like, you know, just diverse, man. And so I've always had a passion just to serve people and to see specifically Black people come up. You know, I remember living in Cali during the Rodney King riots. You know what I'm saying? And that was like super impactful for me as like a 10-year-old.
Right.
I'm seeing the police beat this dude, and I'm like, you know, my mom was the type of mom that like let us watch Def Comedy Jam and you know and all that junk. So she didn't hold anything back. And you know, we're talking about race. You know, I'm talking about race at an early age and trying to figure
10
out.
years old, you said 10 years old?
Yeah, yeah, 10, 11, somewhere up in there, right? 90, I think. What that was like 94.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, so I'm like looking at all this stuff, man. It's just like, wow, like it's hard to be Black. So I started writing like poetry, Black poetry, and all that kind of stuff, man. And you know, it was just impactful. And so now you fast forward like 30 years, I have this real crazy diverse experience from, you know, living in Cali, growing up in the Permian Basin where it's Friday night lights and the only thing people care about is football, to moving here and realizing like, yo, snap, it's very diverse. But then also when you look at pockets of Dallas, it's like there are inequalities that exist, you know, whether we're talking socially, economically, it's so much, man. And so like that's my experience in a nutshell. That drove me to ministry. That drove me to serving Latino and Mexican kids in West Dallas to East Dallas. That drove me to being a youth pastor at a mega church, you know, my early 20s, to serving, check this out, to serving kids in Dalworth, and then flipping the switch because we had 3 different locations to serving kids in South Lake. Black kids, but still a very different experience.
Right.
Right. And the biggest thing that I can say, and that kind of threads all those pieces together, is education.
Right.
Right. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And a lot of that stuff, I really believe is like we indoctrinate our kids and we spoon feed them what we want them to know, whether that's truth or whether that's a lie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so you see that, man, from community to community. And yeah, man, that kind of, you know, just put me in a position where I wanted to really serve and help us come up and do something different. You know, and I've done that like my whole life.
How would you say the Watts riots, being 10 years old, having a discussion about it, how was it then for you, if you can recall? And what is it like now reflecting back on it? Because I'm sure if the conversations, I'm sure if mom is having this conversation with you, I'm sure she's being upfront and honest. Like, I don't think she would bring it out to you, the cookie cutter. Like, how did it feel then, and how relatable is it for you now?
Yo, man. So mama's gonna point you to Jesus first of all. That's the kind of mama I had, right? You know what I'm saying? She's gonna let you watch, you know, Def Comedy Jam and then give you a scripture. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so the Rodney King riots was thrown, man, because at the time I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really experience a lot of racism in Odessa, Texas, although that does exist there. You know, it exists, in my opinion, everywhere. Everywhere you go, you're going to see some type of, you know, some type of pushback because of the color of your skin. And it's not everyone, so I'm not going to generalize, you know, all people, because I have a lot of dope and great friends who are white who don't share some of my values. But when I look back at that time, you know, my mom was just like, yo, this is the way the world is. And then I had an uncle that lived in LA who sped poetry, which kind of put me in a position to where I wanted to do what he did, because he was like being interviewed all on TV. And during that time, man, they actually created like this 100-foot long poetry wall. And my uncle kind of headed that piece up, man. And so it was just like, he was all about freedom. He was all about education. My uncle was one of the wisest and smartest men that I've ever known in my life. I had the privilege
I
to
can say that
utilize
about
him.
mine as well. The
Yeah.
one that had like the greatest impact on me.
Yeah.
Was probably the smartest dude I ever been around, and I wish I was smarter at the time when he was spitting game to me.
Yeah.
Man,
You and me
priceless.
both.
Right. You know what I mean? Like you especially as a young black kid, you know what I mean? You don't have too many people that's
gonna give you the game,
pour into you, you know, or are willing to pour into you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Some people shy away from certain experience, but it grabbed a hold of me, man, and was spitting game to me, and I'm sitting there dumbfounded, like, so totally related.
Yeah, man. And you know, shout out to him. You know, I had a couple of uncles, my mom's brothers, that really kind of stepped in. And my parents divorced at that time. That's why we moved to Cali. You know, it's a part of my story. And you know, Steve Harvey said that, you know, when the fathers weren't present, you had uncles that stepped in. And so I had some uncles that stepped in, and you know, I had the privilege to eulogize this specific uncle that did poetry back in 2018. And it was just like kind of like a dope, you know, full 360 type of event. You know what I'm saying? But he was educated, bro. And he chose to live with the homeless.
Right.
Like, it was a choice. Like, he had a house, he had a family. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. But I mean, that was his choice. You know, but
I love comfort too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that'd be tough for me.
And it's crazy because his name was Southern Comfort. So that's crazy that you say that. So you know these poets got these real deep names. You know what I'm saying? Like, Southern Comfort.
I mean, I gotta have a stage name.
He was named after a nice bottle, huh?
Yeah, he was about that life.
that Southern Comfort. That Southern Comfort used to bless a lot of lives.
Absolutely.
It blessed me a few times too.
And it didn't help that he was from Texas, right? So it was definitely like a play on words. But like, you know, I learned a lot from him, and just kind of like looking back at that, I'm glad I had that experience, you know, because I wouldn't change it for the world. It's made me who I am. It's made me more aware of what we need to be doing as Black people in America, or Black people around the world, because this is not an isolated event. You know, and I would even dare say, because I'm in corporate America at this point, right? Black and brown people and people who live in marginalized communities, I believe there's a responsibility we have, whatever sector or arena that you're called into, to serve those people, whatever that looks like, whatever your gifts are, whatever your talent is, whatever your calling is. I believe it's a responsibility we have, man, to give back and to really set up the next generation. Because like my son is not going to struggle the way I struggle. My daughter is not going to go through what I went through, you know, and that's why cryptocurrency and NFTs are attractive to me. You know, that's just an aspect of it.
Right.
So yeah, the parallels are real.
It gives off the idea that there's something else out there instead of what we believe is the norm, you know,
Right.
whatever that, wherever our surroundings are, you know, some of us may feel like selling weed, doing this is the thing, the only place we can make money. That's all we know, whatever it might be, you know. But to give the idea that, yo, I can get into NFTs, I can get into crypto, I can get into these things and offer myself a different avenue and a way to say, oh, you know what, I can actually make money off of this, or I can build something off of this. And to me, that option just rings dope. You know what I'm saying? It just, it's something new.
And the crazy thing about it is, you know, a lot of people when we talk about cryptocurrency and NFTs, they think risk. But these same people are willing to, you know, do risky behavior, you know, out in the world, you know, like you said, selling weed or boosting and spending their time and efforts doing that type of illegal activity. But then when you say, hey, man, you can invest that money into this and watch it grow because it's not something that's a quick flip. I don't want to be involved in that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the patience for that. I need my money and I need it now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of the issue. We talked about it a little bit before the show is the risk involved. And a lot of people are afraid of the risk, but that's why we wanted to have Jeremy on tonight to kind of talk about, you know, to kind of give us some background information on all of this stuff and break it down for us so we can understand it and digest it. And hopefully after this show and people watching this content, they can go back and, you know, do their own research, you know, get the information for themselves as well. And, you know, go to some sites and get the clicking and get the investing and diving into this because this is the future.
It is.
This is the future. So before we get too far into that, let's talk to Jeremy about what do you do for a living? Like, what is your day job? Like, what do you do?
Man, so thank you for that question. Right now, I work for Fidelity Investments. It was just one of those type of God things, man. I can't make this up. Like, I before that, I worked at American Airlines, and I felt like there was a shift kind of happening, like with how I was thinking and where I was going and what I wanted to do. So I made that transition to move over to Fidelity January 4th, 2019. I didn't have the foresight, man, to realize that there was going to be a pandemic the next year. Many of the people that I worked with at American Airlines either got laid off, took a severance package, because the travel industry got hit hard in 2020.
Really hard.
Yeah, man. And so that was like for real, like a God thing. So at American Airlines, I was a designer, web, graphic design, video production, video.
Okay.
And then so now with Fidelity, I actually do a lot of those same components, but now I interweave that with instructional design. Basically, I help train and teach associates on how to do their role or to do their job better. And that's been a delight, man, because I'm learning so much about just education. The reason why people are scared about crypto and NFTs and digital assets and anything that's related to the blockchain is because of education.
Right.
It's a huge gap in our knowledge, man, because it's different, it's new, and it doesn't help that when you turn on the news, they'll say something like Bitcoin is down 50% from December. You know what I'm saying?
Most investors, smart investors, would tell you that you buy when it's low. That's like the garage. This is what a friend put it to me. Recessions or downtimes are what are garage sales for the prepared.
Man.
So when we, that's kind of how I've kind of made it logical in my mind to understand it. Is that yeah, anything in this life is going to have ups and downs, but that's when you buy when this is down. You don't want to buy it at its highest because it may have reached this peak. And so if you're getting it at a lower, buy low, sell high is what they used to say to us. And this will relate to you too, because you probably heard this in seminary. As a preacher, they used to tell you start low, rise high. If you're a hooper, you take your time, and then you build yourself up, and
Slow down.
See?
Oh man,
Relatable.
Yo, bro, you just said so much right there. I don't even know where to start, man. Baron Rothschild said it like this. Anybody that studies finances or entrepreneurship or banking has heard of the Rothschild family. You know, it's one of those hidden families. No one really knows how much their net worth is, but you kind of see them, you know, control things behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. But Baron Rothschild, one of the patriarchs of the family, said, buy when there's blood in the streets, even if that blood is your own. And you're right, man. You have to position yourself for rainy days. You know what I'm saying? Like Texas has a rainy day fund. You know what I'm saying? Where we just put money into this fund for a rainy day. You know, and because I do work for Fidelity, I had to, for our NFT collection, I had to get everything approved and vetted because they wanted to make sure that it wasn't a conflict of interest, right? So I could say a lot, I can do a lot, but there's some things that I can't say because the last thing I want you to someone to do is buy something and then think that it's my company saying buy this when there's no association. You know what I'm saying? The at the very core of digital assets, it's they go up and they go down, right? And sometimes it's hard to pinpoint when to buy in and when to sell because it's a volatile asset. It's a new asset. It's a new asset class that's making a lot of people a lot of money, and it's a new asset class that if you buy at the wrong time, like I've been hearing crazy stuff in the news of cats who are mortgage, you know, putting, you know, taking loans out on their houses, putting it all in crypto. And when you don't understand the market or you don't understand technical analysis, you don't even understand kind of like the crux of why blockchain technology even exists, why Bitcoin exists, and why big banks and big executives and big money is flocking to it. When you don't understand some of these basics and you put yourself in a position where you're over leveraged, where you know, I got a homie right now. He'll drop like, just say like, I'm just giving an example. This is real life. He'll drop like 500 on a token or a coin. It'll go up 50%. He'll hit me and be like, Jay, I'm killing it today. I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? So he's up, you know, 50%. So let's just say so now his 500 is going to 750, and no lie, in a day it'll swing and he'll lose 10%. And he'll be like, dog, I'm about to jump out. I'm about to sell. I'm like, fam, that's not how this works.
Right. They want the
Because
quick
it's new.
fixes.
You can't.
That
It's not a
instant
quick flip.
gratification. This NFT is a long game. Although you can make a piece of money from what I've heard off the top.
I got something special for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know Ken always got something weird, right? So, you know, before I even got into any investments and things like that, I always like to think about things in relationship, you know, in relationship form, right? So when you get into a relationship, sometimes, especially when you younger, sometimes you see a girl, you know, saying for us in high school, whatever, she might not be the top of the line girl, she might not be the it girl in school, but you see something in her. Right. You see potential. You know what I'm saying? And you
Potentiality.
You invest in her before she, you know what I'm saying, reaches those heights. And some of those women that, you know what I'm saying, that those guys invested in and was with when they was younger, you see them now, you like, oh man, she turned into to be something amazing. And he was already with her. So, you know what I'm saying, he got to see her elevate.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the relationship that you have with these investments, right?
You do.
She might wake up one morning and she might not have her hair in and her makeup on, and she, you know what I'm saying, her, that day she might not be a 10. She might be a
Right.
7. She might fluctuate. Same thing
You know
with
what I'm saying?
investments.
The
Same thing.
fluctuation over time.
The fluctuation happens,
Yeah,
fellas.
absolutely.
But we don't go nowhere. We stay there because we know we got something good. So it's the same thing with these investments. You might see some up and down, just like a relationship, but you gotta stick to it. But there's also rules and regulations to it. Once you
Absolutely.
figure those rules and regulations out, and then you say, okay, well, you know what? This market is consistently bad, right? I got to jump out of this. Just the same way in a relationship. If it's consistently bad, or as y'all say all the time now, toxic, then you need to
I mean,
you need to be
society,
developing.
find a new word, please.
You need
Toxic
to
and narcissist.
you need to be developing an exit plan. So,
Absolutely.
so we trying to give y'all some game, but some of the terms that what I'm saying that my man Jeremy gonna use might be like over y'all head. That's why y'all got to go back and do your research. But he's here to break
And
it
go
down
back and
for you.
rewatch the episode.
But yeah, definitely that. But Jeremy, when you
Yes.
say digital assets,
Yes.
what does that entail?
Yeah, man. No, thanks. Digital asset is anything that is built on top of the blockchain. So if we go back to 2008, 2009, kind of like the inception of Bitcoin, and kind of like that kickoff when the first block was mined. The reason why it was created is because of the 2008 2009 recession. Right, a whole lot of people lost their homes. A whole lot of people lost their retirements, their 401ks, and there's the guy or a group of people named or called Satoshi Nakamoto. Right, this is the inventor of Bitcoin. We never truly experienced the real effects of a recession because what do we do as Americans? Or what does our government do? We print money.
Right.
Right? And this is why this is part of the reason why Republicans and Democrats fight so often. They fight and they argue over budget, over policy, over how much debt that the American government can take on, right? And it doesn't help that whenever we print this money to try to lessen the impact of a recession, the value of our dollar goes down, right? Like if people don't, yeah, I was a recipient of some of those checks back in 2020. I was like, boy, this check hit. But I also knew that, and this is an example. The more money I print, the more the value of my hard-earned money goes down. So yeah, my dollar is $1 today, but if I keep printing money, my dollar tomorrow may be 90 cents. Right. Or when I go, when I go to the gas pump, or when I go pick up some bread. So these things have a huge impact on what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So this group, Satoshi Nakamoto, or this guy said, you know what? There will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever in existence. Programmatically, the dude or the group was a genius, put it together. Only 21 million, which means that now you have an asset that has scarcity.
Yeah.
In addition to that asset, you also have anonymity, which means I don't have to know who you are if I'm going to sell you something. Not only that, now you don't have a middleman.
Okay, that's huge.
You don't have a middleman. I don't need a pass through or someone to go through in order to. I don't need an eBay. I don't need a PayPal.
Right.
I don't need an Amazon. I can give you this money or this Bitcoin, and the way it's called consensus. The way this thing works is when I hand you my Bitcoin, there are mining machines and rigs that are set up all around the world that are a part of the Bitcoin network. They hash out that transaction. They help push that transaction through. And when enough of those transactions confirm that Jeremy Butler's Bitcoin switched hands from Jeremy to Ken, right? It's almost like a digital footprint that says this, in fact, indeed happened. There's no shady business. There's no middleman. There's anonymity. As a matter of fact, I'll give you this as an example. It's typically cheaper than your typical transactions. For example, at like if you go to a mom and pop store, like if you ever been to a mom and pop store and they say, yo, you can't use your debit card unless you spend $5 on it.
Right.
Well, the reason why that is because the transaction fee is going to eat up their profit. Right. So you got all these different properties and qualities about Bitcoin. And what happened with that, it's not so much about Bitcoin, it's about blockchain, it's about this movement of being able to truly own, as I was telling Ken earlier today, your financial future. Being able to say that regardless of what's happening in the global economy, I know that this 21 million Bitcoin that are going to be mined over several years will never change. There won't be anyone who comes behind it and says, oh, because things are really rough right now, inflation is really high, we need more Bitcoin out there. So instead of having 21 million, let's extend it to 25 million.
But there's only 21.
Only 21.
Right.
And that's attractive. It's like a Jordan rookie card.
Right, exactly.
See what I'm saying? There's only so many Jordan rookie cards. It gets better over time. And so what happens with this type of technology and with this type of digital asset, meaning you asked me what a digital asset was, is anything that, and I had to give you that kind of like basics of what blockchain and Bitcoin was and why it exists, because now anything built on top of the blockchain is considered a digital asset. So you have NFTs. Well, NFTs are built on top of the blockchain.
Okay.
Now there are different types of NFTs.
Okay, hold on before we go further. What is blockchain?
Blockchain.
Yeah, tell us what blockchain is, because that's the foundation. That seems to be the foundation for all of this, right? So tell us what the heck is blockchain?
Blockchain, from my understanding, and I'm pretty sure it's like scientists out there who can explain it way better than I can, but it's a technology. It almost feels as if like it's a program. So for example, the best illustration that I can probably give is if you've ever bought a computer, right? Whether that was a Windows computer or Mac computer, we can talk about the comparisons about that here in a minute. But whenever you bring this computer home, you unbox it and you turn it on, there's an operating system on that computer that helps the computer start, right? So the blockchain, if you will, is that operating system. It's that at a basic core, it's the framework. At the basic core, at the foundation, there's a programmed type of thing that executes, and like a lot of geeky people can probably explain it better than me, but that's like my basic understanding of it, right? It's a program. And then, for example, let's just say you unbox that computer. Since I'm a designer, I know I need design programs in order to make my clients happy. So I need to install those programs on top of that operating system, right? It doesn't natively come with design programs. Now, what I build on top of that, we would call it a digital asset. Right? So Adobe Creative Cloud for, my Photoshop and video people, I'm pretty sure they have like other finance type programs or any type of program that you want, you can install them on your computer, right? So a digital asset is something that's built on top of the blockchain. We can call the blockchain just a huge software like program.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to give the people
Yeah.
a illustration of kind of how this stuff is built on top of the blockchain. And I actually have a cousin who's a programmer, and actually I have three of them that are programmers, and they actually talked about how important blockchain engineers were becoming
Yeah.
in the market, and those are ladies and men who just specifically do blockchain programming, and
Yeah.
how that market is really huge and really expanding, because there's a lot of companies that are starting to adapt to blockchain technology,
Hmm.
but there's not enough engineers out there to fill those positions, so they have a lot of
Yeah.
companies
Because
searching
the
for
language is
blockchain engineers.
complex.
Yeah.
And another thing about blockchain technology, man, and this is why I think it's also so powerful and why people flock to it. It's like you can't lie. There's like total transparency. It's man, these programmers are making $150,000 plus a year,
Yep.
right? And everything that's on the blockchain um, regarding Bitcoin is public. It's on a public ledger, which allows people to actually see the transactions that you make. Now, you don't necessarily know who's on the other receiving end of that, because there's an address that can help keep you anonymous. It's a little bit more difficult these days to remain anonymous, because you have stuff like Coinbase that tracks your address, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think regulation in this space is a good thing,
Mm.
because that's going to open the floodgates for more people to come in, especially traditional people, which is where all the money is.
Right.
So yeah, that's the beauty about blockchain, bro. It's like it's public. I can't send Ken $100 and then lie and said I sent him 50.
Makes everything so that solidifies it though, making it more trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why people are willing to jump in so quick.
But
One of the reasons.
I'm okay with you sending me 100 and telling everybody you gave me 50. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that.
he got richer with your transactions.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
or you can go the opposite way, right? I mean, and then when you hear about hacks and different things that kind of happen, man, I think that scares people away as well.
Of course.
But the basics of it, honestly, is just understanding what the blockchain is and why it exists, where it came from. You know,
Okay. So let's talk about, now that we have a general sense of what the blockchain is. Let's go to Savage Kingdom and NFTs.
yeah,
Talk to us about Savage Kingdom and NFTs. What that's all about.
yeah, man. So there are different types of blockchains, right? So you have Ethereum, that's a blockchain, right? It does something very different than Bitcoin. It exists for different type of reason and does different things, kind of like the difference between a Mac and a PC, a Windows computer. They essentially do the same thing, but they do different things,
Yeah.
right? And then you have another blockchain called Solana. So Savage Kingdom is an NFT collection. NFT stands for non-fungible token. It's a digital asset, right? It basically means it's only one. What's the best way I can put it? It's only one of these things that exists in the entire world, right? It can't it can't really be duplicated. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And so Savage Kingdom is an NFT collection that I founded. It's built on top of the Solana blockchain, very different than Ethereum and Bitcoin. Um, and we were very strategic and purposeful and very intentional on building on Solana because it's a lot cheaper. Regarding like gas fees, like there are technically fees, right? Still, it's just the fees don't go to a big conglomerate.
Right. But
Right.
I was going to say that, talk to us a little bit about those fees, just for
Yeah.
a quick second.
Yeah, man. So if I want to sell Ken an NFT Ken has to have a Solana wallet, which allows him access to the Solana blockchain, right? And then he purchases the NFT from me. There is a computer in the background that's helping hash out that exchange or that transaction that says this NFT belongs to Jeremy. Now it belongs to Ken.
Right.
The in between is where the fee comes in,
Right.
right? So
Well, the transaction,
the transaction. So
which is pretty much typical with anything somewhat money based. If you're swiping your card,
Absolutely.
there's possibly a fee, you know, all of that, right? To
Absolutely.
put it in simplistic terms.
Absolutely. And so with Solana, if we were to do that transaction, let's just say it would cost like $2, right? Which is extremely affordable. On Ethereum, and this is where people get all go ape nuts and go crazy. You get these people that buy these $500,000 NFTs, you know, or $100 NFTs, $1,000 NFTs, $3,000 NFTs, and that transaction fee can be anywhere from $100 to $500.
Okay.
I mean, and if you're talking about spending $500,000 on an NFT, then we're looking at hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And if the network is congested, meaning that everyone is trying to get the same NFT or doing something on the blockchain all at the same time, it's kind of like it goes to the roof.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
it's kind of like the
It knows its own value already.
Absolutely.
It translates it right then and there. Like, oh, okay, we just had 10 people want this for 400K, so let's go up.
Because the network is congested.
Okay.
Right. It's so the transaction fees are extremely important. So that's why we moved to Solana, because it didn't make sense for me to position this collection for Black and brown people, and then I'm robbing them and gouging them at the pumps, trying to get them to buy our work. That doesn't fundamentally make sense to me. Like when I live, and that's important because when I lived in Cali, I was on welfare as a kid. You know what I'm saying? And so it just don't make sense, man. Like this is a movement. It's happening before our eyes, and we want people to come into the space and to adopt this new technology and to really understand what it is. And the last time sometimes people can afford to do is pay $100 transaction fee for an NFT that costs $50.
Right.
Like that's stupid.
Unless they just want it that bad.
That bad.
You have to be really in it to be like, yo, you know, I'm willing to eat this extra 50 for that.
Right.
But I'm saying though, while we talking about it, let me show the people a picture of some of your work. And I mean, you talking about spending 50 or 100? These look like they worth it, man. You know, I may not know nothing, but these is fire, man. Like I've seen a lot of them, and these are like dope. They super dope. Like I mean, talk to us about these designs, man. Like,
man.
Like who came up with these designs, man? They fire, man. Everything is just so eclectic, man. I love it, man.
Man,
now,
we were
real quick. This was crazy because I just thought of this, but they mentioned it last night. Basketball, when somebody dunks on somebody, like Wiggins dunked on.
Oh, that was so nasty,
Luka,
wasn't it?
they're saying that could be a possible NFT. Is that true?
Absolutely. Anything can be an NFT, right? And guess what? There's going to be some type of Golden State Warriors fan that buys that for thousands of dollars if they make an NFT.
Right.
And then what's going to happen is it's going to go up in value, and they're going to flip it and sell it to someone else who wants it just as bad as them. Right. So yeah, that's a real thing. Yeah, man.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I need me some basketball in
Again, so hold on. Let me while we're there, before I talk about like the collection even deeper. I know we're close, but if you remember how back in the day you used to buy basketball cards and football cards at the store,
for sure,
and sometimes you would trade it with the homies, or you would go to a card store and you would sell them to the card store. This is the digital version of that.
Bro, I had a Brett Favre card. because he was from the college he was from. I'm forgetting it off the top of my head, but I had his card when he was in that freaking
Black
Atlanta
Uniform.
Falcons jersey.
Oh,
And I traded it away for a card because the dude looked cool on the card.
But Jeremy, get this. This is an amazing story. First time ever being told on the air. This is 100% facts. Jeremy, guess who he traded that card to?
your cousin.
And I still have it.
Yes.
And I still have it.
Hey, bro, you a sucker, man. That hurts.
I swear to you.
Bro,
Like we
listen, 'cause we were into collecting cards as kids.
Hold
When
on.
we were growing up, we collected cards.
This is
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Hold on, but let me
You let 'em
explain
get
to
you,
the
bro.
audience. This is not like scripted or nothing. Like y'all know we do everything off the cuff. This is 100% fact. I forgot it was even Benji that I traded that card, dude.
I
And I
remember the day.
still
Oh,
have
I
man.
still
that card.
remember it
Oh.
because I saw the freaking Brett Favre card.
Oh,
I'm
And
gonna
at the
post
time,
it.
the announcer called him Brett Favre.
Brett
I
Favre.
remember it all like it was yesterday.
I'm
heard
going
that,
to
I saw the
post
value
the
of it,
picture
man.
Oh, man.
of that
When it was
card
your-
when we get off the show. I'm gonna post it tonight so you all can see, because me, you know, as I told you all before, me and Benji's background, we're
Right.
cousins, but we used to live around the corner from each other. So yes, we used to trade football and baseball cards, basketball cards all
Yeah.
the time. And I totally forgot that it was Benji who I traded
Yeah.
that
That boy been
card
looking
with.
at that car like, man, this is amazing.
I still have it. I swear
I
to you.
can't remember. I remember the guy I traded for. It was the Indianapolis Colts running back, and I remember. I can't remember if it was a couple cards or whatever, but I remember the Indianapolis Colts
No,
running back.
it was
who
an
never
Eric
amounted
Dickerson
to
card.
anything. By the
It was
way.
an Eric Dickerson Indianapolis Colts card.
This is crazy.
Bro, and man,
That
and
man
I
is
wish
still
to
feeling the
God back
pain.
then we knew about the cards.
Oh,
but
man,
we
that's
didn't
hurting.
know how
Oh.
valuable they were going
Yeah.
to be later on.
Yes. Right? And you can go with any type of collectible. You do this
Right.
with fiat money, right? The 1935 $5 bills. You do this with, Buffalo coins. You do this with Pogs. You remember that in the 90s.
Yep.
And so you have these moments where you can truly kind of compare what NFTs are today to something in your past.
Right.
And so what prompted me to come up with, the Savage Kingdom collection, man. We have an orangutan, we have a panda, we have a lion, and we have a hyena. And I got into it like last fall, and I saw how crazy like the Bored Apes piece was, and Lazy Lion, and I'm a fan of, man, it was crazy, right? And here's the thing, I didn't want to do NFTs. I didn't want to do it. It was the last thing on my mind because I was a part of the last market cycle for cryptocurrency back in 2016. I got into crypto in 2016. I was telling my family, I was telling my cousin this last year, man, at the end of last year, and he shot me this email that I sent him in 2016. He said, Jay, you was preaching this to us in 2016. And literally the subject to that email said, I think I found it. No lie. It blew my, because I'm like, I didn't even know I sent that to you, first of all. So I jumped into crypto in 2016. I missed that whole run up. Like, I was like, oh, it's going to go up forever. You know what I'm saying? I had like $10,000 in it. Man, that crash hit like January 2018. I had like $2,000, right? I was like, oh, man, like I was devastated. And so from 2018, 2019, beginning of 2020, just a little bit, all I did was buy. I bought everything.
Right.
Bear markets, as I'm not gonna, because I can't give financial advice.
Right.
According to Baron Rothschild, you buy when there's blood in the streets. I bought a lot of blood. So coming into last year, I was Gucci. You talk about generational wealth. You talk about positioning your family to experience stuff that you've never even been able to think or wrap your mind around and put your finger on. That happened.
Right.
So the last thing I'm thinking about is NFTs. But the more everybody that I preached to over the years kept coming back to me like, Jay, can I get in? Did I miss it? Yo, Doge is at 13 cents. Is it too late? You know, and they just kept hitting me and hitting me and hitting me. Now I've done research on about 5,000 coins and tokens, right? Like my research is extensive. I have a whole process that I personally go through in order to see if something is investable or not. Mm-hmm. And so the fall came around last year, man, and I was like, NFTs are taking off. Like, I got to try to take advantage of this situation. And I saw Bored Ape, and I was like, I'm not a Bored Ape type dude. I think they're overrated personally. You know what I'm saying? I think like I have nothing in relationship or nothing in me says buy a Bored Ape. I could have bought a Bored Ape if I wanted to. But I was like, everybody who came back to me was black or brown. And I was like, what would it look like to create a collection that's diverse, that shows diversity and inclusion, and also teaches aspects of financial literacy? And that's where like Savage King came from, man. It was like I was on the phone with one of my homies and my brother, and I was like, yo, I'm thinking about creating this collection. I did research on if I wanted to be on the Ethereum blockchain or the Solana blockchain for about 3 weeks. I found a dope artist in Africa. Man, his name is Emmanuel. Shout out to him. His Sequin Studios on Twitter. I told him my vision. I told him what I wanted. I told him what I was looking for. I grew up like watching samurai movies, listening to 90s hip hop. So all the elements that you just saw like pop up on the screen, those are things that I grew up with. I have 4 brothers. Like all we did was clown. All we did was, you know, how are you doing today? You know, all that, you know, old school karate movie type
that old
stuff.
Karate feel,
yeah,
right?
Me and my team versus your team. And then they would mouth, and they would do that. All right. You know, so like I wanted all of that stuff in the collection, bro. And I wanted like the hip hop joint, man. And so we got like Biggie stuff, and I'm a film buff. I went to school for acting. I thought I was gonna marry Halle Berry. Shout out to Halle Berry, but I love my wife.
Maybe you dodged the bullet with that one.
Shout out to Halle Berry,
right?
But maybe you dodged the bullet with that one because it's been a few in
man,
the
you dumb.
Look,
And none of them made the cut. None of them made.
But I brought that up because Spike Lee is my favorite director, man. You know what I'm saying? Like when he directs, when he produces, and when he writes, like that triple threat, he kills it. And so you're going to see like a montage to several black movies, from Coming to America to Spike Lee joint to, you know, like to Do the Right, all of it, man. And so like I wanted these elements because I knew these are going to be things that people who grew up consuming and experiencing black culture would be able to identify with. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it's like an ode to the culture as well. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like, man, like this is too hot to contain. I gotta have this in here.
Hold on, but let me tell y'all. Let me be the first one. Hold on, Benji. Let me be the first one to say we had him on this show first.
Yeah,
we had him on this show first.
There you go. So I was just about to say that.
Blow up.
We here, Ken. We here.
Hey,
you know
we saw it.
A lot of the people that we're bringing on this show, we're bringing on some winners, and let me tell you, they're gonna be like a man smoking at a gas station. They about to blow up. I'm just saying. I was going to ask this though. I was going to ask this though because you mentioned the fact that you thought you were going to do the acting. And, we've had several people on the show who all felt at one point they were going to be this or they were going to do that, and then something happened and it changed their whole perspective and they went for something else. What was it for you that made you say, you know what? Let me check into Bitcoin. Let me check into NFTs. What was it? Some type of tragedy? Was it just by happenstance? Or how do you view it?
So I was desperate.
Okay.
You know, when you grow up, now my kids think like I just grew up like poor. And I had to tell them sometimes, like, nah, like we good. My mom and my dad did the best they could with what they had.
Right.
But when you grow up and you lack certain things, like I remember for years when we lived in Cali, I got like all of my shoes at Payless. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember one year one of my uncles got us some Reebok black tops, some above the rim joints. Oh, wow. And I had hand-me-down J, the Jordan 3s. Like I grew up, you know, you don't know that you grow up poor until you kind of like truly grow up and you look back on it. Like, man, it was hard. Like I remember walking to the store with Well, this is when they had not the EBT cards, but like the food stamp dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh man, them were epic days right there.
Yeah, man. And
The
I think
different color
also,
dollars, the brown,
yeah,
the
the
blue.
red and the greens.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think being at Paul Quinn was also like a defining point for me, man. And my internship at SMU, it was like literally night and day. I can't even begin to explain to you the difference in the environment, the difference in like the people, the difference in the roads, right? Like real talk, like the roads to the buildings to when you look at our community, man, it's so much that we can do to empower others, man, and serving kids in Irving and West Dallas, East Dallas, man. And when I got married at 23. You know, the following year we had our daughter, man. It was just tight.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to, how do I get ahead? How do I push forward? How do I, like, I can't live like this my whole life. Like, I got to have a plan. And I didn't have a financial plan, right? Like, real talk, like, some of us sometimes it doesn't start clicking until we get older and we realize, oh, snap, I should have been contributing to my 401k right when I first got my first corporate gig.
Right.
And I missed
Financial wisdom that everybody we just didn't know or we wasn't privy to. And now we look
and you
back,
hear
we're
it.
older and we're smarter. You're like, God, dog, it's like I should have kept my freaking Brett Favre card.
Right. But you hear about it, right? Like you see it and you hear it in hindsight. And I think the big thing for me was like in 2018 when I was part of that first cycle, I missed it.
Right.
I had $10,000. I had about 2,000, went up to 10, and then it dropped down to 2. But before that, I bought a token. I bought a coin. Sorry, it's the difference between tokens and coins. We don't have the time to go into that now. But I bought a coin called XRP Ripple. I was buying Ripple in the summer of 2016. I bought 180 XRP. That's the ticker name for $1. Right, I'm going somewhere, like a preacher would say. And I'm building my case.
Get ready to hoop.
The following year, I had 130,000 XRP. It was valued at about $1,500. We got into a jam. It got real tight. I convinced my wife that this was the way. I told everybody about it, and everybody laughed at me. My family, my friends, they were talking about me like I was stupid because I'm a dreamer. I got this dream for my life. I'm trying to obtain it. I'm trying to achieve it. So I tell everyone that I'm connected with and that I'm close with, yo, this is what I'm thinking. So I told them about this too. But we got into a jam. We had to pay some bills. I sold all of it for $1,500. I told my wife, yo, we're gonna, because I wanted to get to about 600,000 XRP. I was like, yo, when the taxes roll around, that's when we get our money. You know, we're gonna get that. And, you know, we'll be good. I think it would have been about five grand or so. Well, life has it to where things happen. Taxes came in. We got that money. We have more bills. Later that year, for one XRP, it went to $3.20 something.
Oh wow!
I had 130,000 of them. So now I'm figuring out in my head that was 400 grand that I missed out on. And I'm like, I was bitter for about 6 to 9 months. My wife will tell you, anyone who knows me that knows this story will tell you, I was pissed. Because I'm like, do you know what that money would have done to my life?
400, man.
So from
I
there,
have some of those memories about jobs and stuff that I wish I would have took and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Man. Oh my gosh.
So all of my experiences leading up to that defining moment really helped me fixate that this was the ethos. This was the heart behind the decision. I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order to be ready for the next cycle.
Right.
So 2018, 2019, 2020, all I did was buy.
Would you agree that it starts with a belief in whatever? If you don't believe in this, what would you say to somebody? Or because you sound sold out on it and it's very convincing. What would you say?
Absolutely. Do your research.
Right.
I think once you understand that, yes, Bitcoin is, at the time of this recording, Bitcoin is down about 50% from 6 months ago. That's a fact. That's true. But when you understand what happens behind closed doors and under the table, and when you read in the headlines it's down 50%, but also you read other headlines that say so and so just jumped into Bitcoin. This big bank, who for 8 years denied that Bitcoin was even a thing, are now in it. And when you have enough big banks and enough big money and enough big executives and big personalities that are really saying there is something here. And you know us, sometimes I think we're the last ones to the table, bro. It's like I hate being last. I don't want to be last no more. I don't want my people to be last.
Agree with that. But I will say part of it is because a lot of us are very fearful of change.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through so much. When we find a spot, you know, we're sticking to it and sticking to it. And you bring on some new information that people aren't privy to.
Right.
Our folks get scared because we think everything is scam, from business credit to from personal credit to getting money from. Like it's funny to me, and I'm gonna share this. It's like most of our people ask for help. Like, you need help, you need help, you need help. Do you realize like the bank has all the money? Like they invest your money. Like they only give you a 0.1% return on any of your money, but they take your money and they actually invest your money into whatever's out there at that point in time. And it's like hard trying to convince our folks, like this is what you need to be doing. Invest. Your bank is doing it with your own money.
Right. Yep. Change in time are the things, are some of the main things that I understand to be constant. Right. Change is always going to happen. And if we don't adapt, if we don't change up and switch up how we move, we're going to get left. Period. There's no way around it. When I talk about positioning my kids for a future, and I'm positioning them in a way that's going to give them the tools and the equipment and the artillery that they need in order to go to the next level, spiritually, financially, socially, educationally, I have to do something different. And sometimes doing something different means you've never seen it.
Right.
And
that makes it scary.
And it makes it scary. But if you do enough research and you're able to take a calculated risk, and I'm not saying throw the whole bag in. That's not what I'm saying. Right. You got to have an end goal in mind. And for me, the direction I was headed in, I would have never obtained my end goal if I didn't do something different.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right. Like we have these, like people think that once you retire and you have 200, 300, 400 stacks in your 401k or in your retirement fund, like you're killing it. Like, and to most Black people that I know that live in my community, they will say, yes, you did it. You killed it. But when you sit down and you do the numbers and you realize, hold on guys, my door just opened just a moment.
Yeah, but
even with what he's saying, when we get this information, Ken, like it resonates because, for one, I tried a few, even with stocks, and I missed out on the Tesla thing. Mm-hmm. Like, so you have all of these things out there, and you look back and you're like, oh man, like I could have made buku money off of this if I wasn't fearful in the beginning.
Oh, I missed out.
Do your research, look it up, like read about it, and think about it, listen to stuff on it, and you'll realize real soon it's not some Ponzi scheme. It's legit. People are literally making millions of dollars off of these simple transactions.
I missed out bigger than that. I missed out. Oh yeah, for sure. I missed out on Google. Like years ago, bro. Like the dude came to me at my job I can't even remember the dude's name, but he used to work with me at Lone Star overnight. Shout out to him. He came to us and he said, "Y'all, there's this new search engine that's gonna be coming." Now at the time we had Yahoo, and those of you who are a little bit older, y'all know Yahoo was it. Yahoo
Jail
was
cities, the whole
everything
nine.
Right,
as
right.
a search engine, right?
Yeah.
So the guy came to us and said new search engine is called Google. And first of all, when you hear the word Google, you're like, Google, man,
Right.
what is
I can
that?
imagine what Google sounded like 20 years ago.
Yeah, what is that? And he was like, well, all it's gonna take is it's gonna take $1,000 for each person to
Jeez.
invest in it. And at that point, I'm like 25, 26. I got 2 kids at home. I'm like, I don't have $1,000 to invest in this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I would take, you know what I'm saying, my little tax return money and buy tennis shoes and buy all this other stuff with it. And now I look back at it in retrospect, I could
Wow.
have took 1,000 of that tax return money, invested in that
Yeah.
Google stock at the very ground level, and man,
Yeah, you would be up tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of
hundreds of
dollars.
Amazon,
thousands of dollars.
Netflix,
Yeah,
all
Yeah.
of those types of things they weren't worth what they are
Right.
worth now. They were
Right.
at pennies. They were
bro.
at
Netflix.
dollars.
Who believed Netflix was gonna be better than Blockbuster? Nobody.
I mean, you know what's funny? This is the story I read on that, and this is what kind of had me in it. The Blockbuster Netflix approached Blockbuster wanting them to sell.
Yes, they did.
And Blockbuster being, the company that they were pretty, well off and wealthy. And, they didn't understand it. And they actually never sold. And Netflix actually pushed them out of business because streaming became like so huge. It just basically pushed them and made them basically go bankrupt
Yep.
to a degree, right? So I'm sitting like, that information didn't come to me until I was much older. I'm just now reading about some of these things. So,
Wow.
in terms of the processing getting to us, I do feel like we get it last sometimes. But hey,
Yeah,
we got
man.
to break that cycle. That's why we're having this show.
We have to, right? Again, if you want something different, then you have to do something different. I think at this point in the game, we already know, all of us for the most part know what the definition of insanity is. And so I don't want to get stuck in that loop. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't want to, and it's not for me to gloat. It's not for me to like hold it over anyone's head, but it's for me to say, hey, like, this is a real thing. Educate yourself, right? Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? And we can't be afraid of making money. We can't be afraid of even, like, this breaks down into like even understanding earning potential.
Yeah.
Like, you've been at a job for 10 years. You the dude at the job, and you scared to leave.
Right.
Like, earning potential says, I got places that I have to go. I got kids that I have to raise. I got kids. I got a kid right now that wants to go to an extremely expensive school. Shout out to her. And I'm like, okay, as a dad, I'm thinking, how are we gonna do it? Because you're not coming out of school with $100,000 in student debt. That is dumb. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
as a provider, I'm putting myself in a position to say, how can we make this happen outside of scholarships? What else can I do? So that forces me to think outside the box. That pushed me to crypto. That pushes me into like, for one of the things I believe that's going to help our collection is, like, I'm building a whole game. Like, I'm in the process of game development with developers and designers right now as we speak. Right? I would have never thought in my mind that I would build a game that's going to be on Android and in the App Store. Like, that's insane to me. But I saw the market, because the market is trash right now. I saw it literally a mile away, and I said, we need to make some adjustments. I was talking to my team. Let's make some adjustments. Let's pivot. Let's move what we had in phase 4, phase 3, wherever it was at the time, up to phase 1. And so now we're building a game to make sure that we have revenue in, to make sure that the project can be self-sustaining. Because once something is on the blockchain, right, it's forever out there. It's going to live until the blockchain is destroyed or something happens to it. Right. So in the meantime, until the market goes back up, I need to make sure that we have revenue coming in. So that led me into game development because, we got to pivot. We got to change some stuff up.
Right.
And that's part of life.
Ooh, that's huge. The game
Man,
development.
listen, this information is dope. Listen, I hope everybody out there that's paying attention to this, man, looks deeper into the aspects of this because, listen, it's definitely taken off. It's been taking off, and some of us need to jump in on this.
Yeah.
I had a question for you before we kind of start wrapping up. With metaverse. I know that's big talk now, and let's talk about that for a minute. You know, I mean, I don't know how much or how deep you are into that as well, but I know that's one of those buzzwords now that's going around, and a lot of people are hearing that. So, talk to us about what you know about the metaverse. What can you tell us about that?
I'll just say this, man. I got some homies that think the metaverse is evil. I got some cats that's like, yo, it's the beginning of the 666, and I'm like, y'all dumb. Like that don't even make sense. Do you realize? Do you realize?
I mean, you gotta understand. You know, some people believe that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They said the same thing about the internet 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
They said the same thing about cars when they're like, what is this? You know, we got horses. Like this. So to your question, the metaverse is not evil. The truth of the matter is, this is a type of metaverse right now. If we look at it, this is a visual representation of who we are that's being transmitted virtually through the cloud. You're seeing me and I'm seeing you, but this is not our real physical selves where we can dap each other up and say what's up to each other. This is a representation. So the metaverse is a visual representation of an avatar or something dealing with your likeness, right? That lives in a 3D type of environment to where it's its whole little ecosystem. It's this whole little community where you can buy stuff, where you can connect with people, much like Fortnite, right? Much like Minecraft. These things have kind of already existed, but now this stuff is built on top of the blockchain. So it's a different type of technology now. We would call this like Web3 versus kind of like Web2. Like these are just kind of like, if you will, like generations in the evolution of the internet. From like Web1, when the internet first started, to Web2, you have social media, right? MySpace and Facebook and Twitter. That's what would be considered Web2. And then like Web3 is this whole new frontier that's built on top of the blockchain. You have the metaverse, you have NFTs, you have other digital assets and instruments, tokens and coins. And so the metaverse simply is a visual representation in like a virtual arena or ecosystem where you can buy stuff and connect with people.
Right. Okay. Takes you away from so-called reality for a moment.
Yeah, and some, like in some senses, like people are going to start using it for training. Right. People are using it for concerts, like to where it almost feels as if you're at a concert. And the beautiful thing about this, y'all, is what blockchain technology does, whether we're talking metaverse or NFTs, it puts power back in the hands of everyday people, right? It allows you to really own your financial future. And that's key. And it's scary, and it's a different change because, as I was telling Kim before we started, it's easy for me to say, call up my bank whenever I forget my password or use a forgot password link. You can't do that in this space. You own it.
Right.
So if you lose your private keys and passwords are different things. Right, but if you lose your private keys, and you got a stack in there, or 30 grand in there, or $500 in there, it's gone.
Right.
But if you maintain it, this stack or this $500 or this 30 grand, when you look up in 5 years, because we're playing the long game, it can be a substantial amount. Right. But you just or it could be less. That's my disclaimer, because I work for Fidelity. I gotta say these things.
Right.
But yeah, man.
Disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? You don't want folks to be like, man, I put my I went and I did.
Yeah. Let me call up Jeremy and Fidelity. Jeremy. Jeremy told me to put this money in Fidelity. No, Jeremy
You know
did
what I'm
not
saying?
tell you that.
This is all on you. This is all on you.
I do not give financial advice.
This is willing participants.
But yeah, man, that's the metaverse stuff for real.
Okay, well, I think that's dope, and I think we've given the audience a lot of information to at least start their journey.
Yeah.
Hopefully we put some people at ease with this new frontier because
Yeah.
it's happening whether you
Yeah.
like it or not. So if you want to stay broke, stay broke. But this is an opportunity for you to get in on something that could help change the trajectory of not only your life, but could change your whole legacy, could change the life of your kids, your grandkids, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Gotta do something different.
Yeah.
You
You
gotta
got
do
to.
something different.
We're
And
talking
you got to.
generational wealth.
Yeah.
Don't ever stop wanting to do something different. Don't let it scare you.
Can I say something real quick before we
Yeah,
kind of end?
sure.
Bet, thank you, sir. Some people do jump into it because they understand that this investment can go up in value, right? But that's not the only reason why people jump in. Some people buy NFTs because of the community. They want to be a part of something.
Right.
Some people buy NFTs because of the art. It's very unique. It's very different.
That it is.
Some people buy NFTs.
Did we get him? Take a pause.
Yeah, I think he froze.
I think he froze up on us.
Yeah.
It's all right. We was getting some dope information there.
Yeah. He was dropping that knowledge, those gems. We'll see if we can get him back on the screen. But
yeah, he disappeared like Jeremy Butler did in Game 4.
You tripping? but we have to make sure that that we're not afraid of the new frontier that's coming. As I was saying, if you look in the actual comments earlier, if you scroll up, you can see that I left his website in there. So I'll go ahead and flash that up for you all, so y'all can see that.
Follow Savage Kingdom, yes,
Savage
and follow
Kingdom.
that on IG as well. Savage Kingdom NFT. If you go to our page, we've tagged them on there as well, so you'll be able to
go to that
the IG
website
page as well.
Check out the dope art. He's got information on there about everything that he's into and everything that he does and the whole collection and the things that he's got coming. Y'all also heard him talk about he's developing the game. So I'm just basing it off of this art that he got. Man, if it looks anything like these NFTs that he has, that game gonna be fire.
Right.
That game gonna be fire. Like I'm excited.
I went to the IG page and looked at some of them on there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, man, okay."
Yeah, man. So it's very, very dope. They caught my attention right away, and I'm glad we were able to get him on. You know what I'm saying? So we could talk about this stuff, but it's gonna become a huge part. We've already missed so many opportunities to jump into these things, and let's not let another wave pass and we don't take advantage of it while we can, because then you end up like Benji and he don't have his Brett Favre card no more.
I mean, listen, I there's certain things I lament over time. Okay, there's certain things that you just upset about. You know what I'm saying? I remember the Brett Favre card. I remember.
Yeah,
and I remember there were some other ones I had too, because we used to collect a lot of cards. We used to go get those. We used to hit up the store and get those. Which cards were they at the time? I'm forgetting the freaking name of them. We used to hit them up all the time and get the cards. So
you're probably talking about Upper Deck.
Yes, Upper Deck.
Yep. Okay, we got it back. Okay.
Yo, man, I'm sorry. There's a whole storm popping off in my area, man. I apologize.
It's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Hey,
you straight.
We here. This is technology. This is what happens. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we appreciate you joining us, man.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate all the information that you've imparted upon us. The people in the comments and the audience are saying that they learned so much today. They grasp so much from it. So hopefully,
snap! There's a whole comment section over here, man. Oh man, I'm sorry
you see,
bro. I was in the private chat.
You're gonna have to go through and pontificate with them.
Yeah, man. And we put your website up, and we're telling people to hit that up. So we'll flash that up again, so people understand. Hey, they can go to your website. check out your stuff, get your information from there. If they want to reach out, if they want more information, hopefully somebody is out there buying NFTs, because that's my next thing. I gotta have some NFTs, man.
Same for me. I need to get it.
Yeah.
I got Dogecoin. I got a few of those, but I have not jumped in NFT. And also remember, Ken, Rhonda Rocky Harper told us about the Black Girl Surf thing, where she's going to be doing NFTs.
Yeah. So we definitely got to do that too.
And I'll say this, man, whatever your reasoning, what I was getting at before I was cut off, whatever your reasoning is for jumping in NFTs, just make sure you do your research. I'm a fan of Black NFT collections and projects because there aren't enough of us in this space. I think we have something really unique that we bring to the space. We have something really dope that I think Bored Ape can't even come close to. Yeah, the valuation of those NFTs are a lot more expensive than ours, obviously.
Right.
But
the fact that we in it, though.
Yo, we're here.
That's the dope part to me.
We're here, and we're making noise. And many of the Black NFT projects that I'm in connection with, they're doing it for the people. So if anything, support the people. You know what I'm saying? Education is key. Do your research. And man, thanks so much, man, for like just allowing me to come on and allowing me to connect and get it in with your folks, man. And man, this has been real dope. I appreciate you, fam.
Man, the brother got preacher written all over. You can tell he got his
but I don't hoop.
It's all right though, because see what they used to tell us was like, find his own son. Are you an expositor or an orator? Which one you are? Don't be up here trying to hoop if you ain't gonna hoop. Well, you're gonna sound bad. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But you can tell because your cadence is there. I can tell. Thank you, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
He in there. I see it. It's all right.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you joining us, man, because like I said, the conversation was definitely needed. The information was even more needed, bruh. And like I said, hopefully, we'll see growth. You know what I'm saying, in this in this space. You know, with faces that look like ours. But like I said, man, I'm telling you the honest to God truth. Like, your collection is dope. Like, super dope. Man. Like, I'm really into art and things like that, man. And I think that when people understand that NFTs is really what it is art. And just like art that, you know, will be on a wall or something, you know, somewhere else. You walk in my house, you'll see an NFT, a huge NFT on the wall. That's a piece of art. This art is that dope. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm telling y'all, Jeremy Butler was on this show today. So couple years
we're gonna
run
the clip when the game come out. You know what I'm saying?
When y'all see all this stuff popping off, y'all gonna be like, "Oh, I never heard of that dude." Man, go check out the episode.
It's definitely here to stay, bro. It's here. It's not going anywhere.
Let me know how I can get in on some purchases of NFTs for sure. I want to jump in on it.
Part of our we're working on some a new game for our NFT collection, but also another aspect of it is we're creating a learning academy where we're going to be teaching a lot of the basics and a lot of the stuff that we went through today. We had to push that back just a little bit only because the market was like really, really bad, and I needed to pull some stuff up in order to create revenue to make sure that our project was sustainable. So we have a whole slew of educational videos popping and coming. So I'll definitely let you and your community know whenever that happens.
For sure. Appreciate it, man.
Well, that's dope.
This was dope.
Yep. So Jeremy, stay put. We're gonna put you backstage. We want to talk to you a little bit after the show so we can get our NFT journey going possibly tonight. So y'all, we appreciate Jeremy for joining us. Y'all hit up his website, go get the info. Y'all already know that, you know what I'm saying, he gonna bless you with some information. We got the information right here for social media, but I wanted to show that because he got the NFT in the little corner, but I also, you know what I'm saying, blew it up a little bit for the blind.
Fool around and have a fire session NFT.
For the, hey, ooh, Fire session NFT.
Hold
Jeremy.
around and have a fire session
Hey,
NFT.
y'all,
I'm just saying.
y'all, we finna wrap up because we got to chop it up with Jeremy for a minute because we got to get this thing popping. You know what I'm saying? A fire session NFT. Man,
Once we add the sports page, once we add all of that, it's gonna be one huge big old conglomerate.
Don't tell them everything. Don't tell them everything, man. People might try to steal, man. People might try to
They ain't
steal
stopping
ideas,
nothing around
man.
here, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Full
Jeremy,
steam ahead. We running them over this season.
we appreciate you, brother.
Likewise,
Like I said,
thank you.
Wait backstage for us when we close out, and we're gonna chop it up. All right.
Cool, thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Jeremy Butler, people. Hey, I'm telling
Dope
y'all,
show, bro.
NFTs, man. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like we were just talking about a little bit ago. Like, we already missed the Google bus.
Right.
We missed that.
Netflix.
We missed
Amazon.
Yeah, Netflix, Amazon, all that. Listen, he has given you information. Do not, I repeat, do not miss this boat, because I'm gonna tell you what. When I drive by you in something nice in a few years, you know what I'm saying, because of my investments, don't say Big Ken was selfish and he didn't tell us. Don't say Benji Banks, the man, the brand, did not tell us.
I'm trying to have my own,
you.
like Lake Varnell. I'm trying to have my own 10-mile lake out back with the catfish.
I
can
ain't
go
trying
swimming in my own. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna share that with y'all. I want to call mine Lake Benji Banks or something like that. We can go out there and get some trout, some catfish, or whatever, and fish right outside in my backyard on my own land.
Hey, you know, whatever your dream is of attaining things in this world, there's a way to do it. You just got to do something different, and that's the main thing to take away from tonight. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. Don't be scared to invest in certain things. If you want something different, you got to do something different to make it happen. So,
Facts.
Benji Banks.
Yes, sir.
Talk to the people before we get up out of here.
Man, you know what? You know where you can follow me at. IG BRB 4701. Come over there if you got a small business, if you got anything and you want me to run up some views and get you some exposure out there, I'll mark it for you. I'll put you out there. Got our wine product, got our new Bossier collection. So listen, we just got everything under one umbrella and we're making it happen. You can always follow me on Facebook, Benji Banks. But we here. Go check the YouTube out. Go subscribe to that channel, Fire Session Podcast, because we going up. That's what I'm telling you.
Man, y'all already know y'all can catch me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can try to send me a friend request to my personal page. It's probably going to be denied because you're trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like Jeremy said earlier, everybody trying to hack something. But, you know what I'm saying? Y'all already know y'all can follow the Fire Session Podcast on all social media platforms.
Yes,
but
sir.
Specifically YouTube. Go to YouTube, click like and subscribe on the page so you can continue to get this dope content that we pump out, these interviews, this information, because we're trying to put the medicine in the candy, as we always say. We're going to give you something sweet, but we're going to give you something to take home with you in the meantime. You're going to get some substance from each show. And we come on here, we clown a little bit, we entertain, but we want to give you something to take with you at all times. So, you know, we want y'all to have a blessed week. We want y'all to be safe out there. And y'all already know, tune in each week, every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time at 5:30 over there with Benji at in California.
I mean, it's only 7:07 where I'm at right now. So, and the lights are still out, and it's still beautiful outside. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, we ain't listening to Benji because I got his Brett Favre card. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. All right, peace.
Man.
Follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fire Session Podcast.